All right, good morning, everyone. We're going to finish or continue, I should say, on with our hair design. So, yesterday we set this one straight rollers with our parallel distribution. And here's the finished product. I took the rollers out and here's what we got on the finished product with just the rollers taken out. This hasn't been brushed or anything. I just removed the rollers out of the head. So combing out, everyone has their own way that they like to wear their hair, and they have their own little finishing details that, makes their hairstyle like their signature thing. Like with me, I have, this looks so crooked. I have bangs. I'm never going to go without bangs because we've pretty much got a big bald spot back here. So everyone that knows me for my whole life, practically, I've had bangs, and I'll never go without them. Or fringe, if that's what we want to use the term here. So I'm going to do a little comb out on her real quick. And hopefully show you how to do some back combing. So as I start with this, oh my gosh, that's not nice. I wish it was a little bit better with all this electronic stuff. Okay.
Hey, I'm still listening and paying attention, but I'm going to turn my camera off so I could do dishes real quick, just so you know.
Okay. So, in a lot of the comb outs in the videos here, they show you using two brushes. And the reason why the two brushes are used is to help calm down static electricity. Because a lot of times when you just start brushing, you just get a lot of static, especially with clean brushes and clean hair. It just picks up a lot of static electricity. So in the videos when they show the comb outs, they show using two cushion brushes. What I have here is one cushion brush, and then I have one like regular natural bristle brush, but it does the same thing. So you just gotta start in the back and just start brushing this out, working your way around the head. Remember, I have no gel or anything in this hair, so it's just gonna pop back up, but we're just gonna give her a little side bang over here. And just kind of rotate one brush at a time, hand over hand. Just sort of relax the set and relax the roller lines. Okay, so there's two different ways that you can do back combing. One of them is like a comb, like a tail comb. Use the tail comb, it's going to get it in there real tight at the scalp. You can use a comb that has like a pick on the end of it, that'll get the back combing in there, and then you can use the teeth part with the metal to sort of just lift this up and fluff it out and kind of tie it all together. They have these that have plastic, but I personally prefer metal. I just think it separates it, and it just gives it a little bit easier. I like metal picks. I like the metal on the end of the comb. I just like the metal better. But plastic works too. Now you can also do what's known as back brushing. And I'm gonna kind of show you what that back brushing looks like first before I do like back combing. Okay, so back brushing is something that's done on the surface of the hair. And when you do this, the whole purpose of this is to kind of tight these lower lines together so that it blends it all, so you don't see like the lines that are going on through there. So with the back brushing, it's done on the surface of the hair, like the top, and the back combing is done on the underneath part of the hair. So when I start with my back brushing, if I start here in the back, like if we look up here, we see how it sort of separates right in here, and I want to tie all that together. So just going to grab this piece where it's sort of separating. And I'm going to start with the brush towards me, and I'm going to kind of do this motion to brush it back using just the teeth. So if I start, stand is too loose. This piece of hair here, and I'm gonna comb it towards me, and now I'm gonna start with my teeth, and I'm just gonna brush it back on the surface of the hair, get my back brushing. Just kind of go down the hair, picking up pieces of each roller, just to kind of tie all that together. I always used to be fascinated when I was a kid because my aunt did hair and I used to go to the shop that she worked at, and I would watch her tape these women and make their hair look like a big mess of tangles, is what I would call it. And then she'd smooth it all out and it looked like this great hairstyle when she got done. One thing you remember when you do this though, is that for each strand of hair that you pick up, you want to do the same amount of strokes. If you do like 3 strokes on one side and 2 strokes on the other and then 4 strokes on another piece, you're going to end up with a lot of unevenness that you're going to try to fill it in. So if you do the same amount of strokes, it sort of just ties it all together. So I'll pick up the end of the comb. The difference between these combs is, well, for one, the manufacturer, one's a little bit longer than the other. One has, it's weird if you put them together, like right there, the bottom's longer on that one, but the top's longer on this one. But the teeth are kind of made for back combing because they have those little ridges in there, and it sort of makes the back combing a little bit more. I kind of like the way this one holds better because right here in the center it has like this little indentation. It's kind of textured, so it gives you a little bit more of a grip, where this is really smooth right in here. This has a place for fingers if you wanted to hold it like that, where this one just has kind of an indentation for the same thing. So it's just personal preference. So I'm gonna take the end of this pick here, and I'm just gonna kind of come in and smooth all this out. This is where you'd be using your mirror, right? Because you can look at every angle in the mirror and make sure that you have this nice and smooth and even, you know, turning them around in the mirror, looking at all of it from the mirror and making sure that you don't have any holes or any hollowness in through this style. So, and then you can just like do details. You can flip the curls up, you can make the ends look a little bit more, but you get it all just sort of put together. And then you end up with it smoothed out and no separations. It's full, because remember we did on base, half off base down here. So I can just kind of spray that down and I would call it close. I'd say, does that look like you? And see what she says. Okay, so now that I'm up here on the top, I'm gonna do some back combing here. So remember, the whole idea is to make it go together, and I want to back comb it in the direction I want it to go. So this area here now is going to come back. This is going to come over to the side, and this, I guess I could kind of push it back, or I could kind of pull it forward, or just go straight down with it. I think I'll go a little bit back with it, just give it a little bit more difference. So I'm going to stand behind this now because this is the way I want it to go. This roller right here was kind of the transition roller between the front and the back. So I'm going to definitely make sure that I divide this one in half and put half of it towards the front and half of it towards the back. That way it'll blend together in those spots. So as I grab some of one roller and some of another roller, and I pick this up, you don't want to get it too thick. But when I go to back comb this, I want to do it just at the base. I don't need it on the ends. So I'll put my comb at about a 45-degree angle, and I'm just going to, from about halfway down, and just, again, I'm doing this kind of a thing with it. I come in and just push it down towards the scalp and just get that hair tight in there. My ends are free to curl around and move it where I want it. Remember, however many strokes you do on one piece of hair is something that you have to do on the other. This is where some of the ladies that have been doing this for a long time will say, oh, you're not doing it tight enough. You're not pulling my hair. We don't want to pull anyone's hair. You can get this in here just as tight without pulling their hair. But some of the women that have been doing this like their whole life, they think if it doesn't feel like it's being pulled, it's not working. You get really big hair doing this too. I was a child of the 80s, right? So big hair was like it. It was like big hair. So I got pretty good at making big hair. Move my fringe out of the way because I just want to work on the sides right here. You see, right here on the side, you can kind of see where this roller is and it separates it. So this back combing is going to put all that together so we don't have that separation. So now up here on the top, I want this hair to come over to the side. So I'm just going to pick this up. And then kind of work the side over here the same way. Let's do 8 strokes of back combing. So I got to make sure I do 8 on every piece I pick up. Okay, so now this is ready to be combed out. You know how you can tell if you have your back combing in there good? So if you put a comb in and you can hold it like this and it doesn't come out, you've got it in there good. So if I start in the back now, I'm just gonna kind of fluff this and put it in the way that I want it to go towards the back. Back combing generally lasts longer than back brushing too. See now here it looks a little flat, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more. And I'm not taking my back combing out, I'm just really smoothing the surface and I'm leaving the underneath just like it was. So just the surface is getting smoothed here.
Miss Connie, are you gonna fade that on the sides? You should fade it.
What?
Yeah, you should fade it on the sides.
I'm not doing haircuts.
Do it. It looks nice.
Let's blend a little bit more of this together. using a workable spray just to kind of spray this all together while I put this hair together. And then once I finished, I would probably shoot it with a hard hold hairspray.
Hey, Miss Connie, I forgot to log in.
Well, get off and do it right now and come back on.
Okay.
Trying to fill in this part right here because I don't want one. And then in the end, you just sort of look like some, I don't know. I'm sure everyone wants to run right out and wear their hair like this, huh? Yeah. Okay. So how do you know you got your back combing in? You stick this in there and you still got it, right? Like it's not coming out. I could carry her by her head. And that's how you would know that it's still in there. Now,
How would you take this out?
brushing. Okay, so I was just gonna say that. So when you finish with this, right, the client comes in like the next week, she's ready to have her hair shampooed. What are you gonna do? If you take it back with all of this in here, you can feel it. It's like spongy feeling, right? If you take her back to the shampoo bowl with her hair like this, well, she's been wearing it for a week, so it's gonna be smashed on one side and all up like this on the other. But if you take her back and get it wet with it just like this, all this back combing is just gonna lock in. It's gonna be like one big knot on her head. So before you start, you wanna take your brush, start in the bottom and just brush all of this out and get it tangle free before you go back to the shampoo bowl. Remember, there's gonna have there's gonna be hairspray in here, there's gonna be the setting lotion that you've used, and during the week, she's probably sprayed it down a few times, when she wakes up in the morning, trying to get it to go where she wants it to go. So we just want to bring this down just a little bit more. So you just brush it out. Back combing and back brushing is something that you should really learn because there's always a need, even in your own hair when you're styling it. There may be a little tiny spot. Might not be the whole head. It might just be like this piece right here that's not doing what you want it to do. You just put a little bit of back combing in it and it goes right where you want it to go. Even if you're using a flat iron or a wand or a curling iron instead of rollers, it does the same thing. But we're just sort of focusing on rollers right now. Because you see all of this lift and stuff that's here at the scalp, you can, I'm not gonna say you can't. You can get it with a curling iron, but it stays much better when you do it with rollers. And I told you my friend got married and they rolled her hair in rollers, and what they did is she had all one length hair. So they took all of her hair and they rolled it on big rollers because her hair was about down to about right here. They rolled it all on rollers. So he took the whole top and he rolled it under to about here. Then he took the whole bottom and, it was like 2 or 3 rollers, and he rolled it up this way. So when they took it down, all of this kind of poofed over, and then these individual rollers, he separated each one and she had all kinds of little curls that were just sort of spiraling down. It was actually really, really cute. It looked really cute. But it did shrink her hair up because of the curl. So instead of being, you know, down to her shoulders here, it put her hair about the top of her shoulders because of the curl in it, but it was cute. It worked. Okay, so this was a parallel distribution that we did. It was all just straight partings. So, you know, in the front, how sometimes people have a side bang and it kind of comes up a little bit and then comes over. That's what we're gonna do today from a radial parting through the back of the head. Instead of going under with it, I think with this one, I'm gonna just sort of flip it up a little bit on the ends and just give it a little bit of a different look. But before I do that, I wanted to show you a video on just some different sets, and then we will go from there. So let me share my screen with you guys.
Expanded ovals are used to create gentle curved movement in a design, perfect for many clients with longer layered length. Finger styling creates a piecier look that retains the curl formation. This option is especially effective for clients with relaxed hair. Clients and designers both appreciate the longevity of the set and the finishing techniques. The off-the-face rectangle blends with the top movement of the ovals for a flattering design, with the majority of the hair moving away from the face. The expanded oval technique, also referred to as the indirect technique, is used to set the sides. A rectangle encompasses the top, and a bricklay pattern is used to set the remaining shape in the back. This design is set on increased layers that were sculpted using the planar technique in the interior. The art shows the sectioning and parting pattern used in this exercise. Expanded ovals are set on either side, using 1 diameter half-off base control throughout. A rectangle at the center top is also set using straight half-off base control. A bricklay pattern is used to set the remainder of the hair, with diminished volume toward the nape. Mold and scale a rectangle from the front hairline approximately to the crown. Use the length of the roller and scale the length of the rectangle to equal 4 diameters of the roller. Mold a fast to slow counterclockwise expanded oval on the right side of the head. Then use the tail comb to scale the expanded oval shape in preparation for the indirect technique. Mold and scale a fast to slow clockwise expanded oval on the opposite side. Begin setting the rectangle-shaped section at the front hairline using a cylindrical roller. Measure and part a 1 diameter horizontal base. Project approximately 90 degrees from the center of the base, wrap the ends around the roller, and roll downward with even tension. Position the roller half off base and use a pick to secure. Use the same technique to set the remaining 3 rollers in the rectangle shape. positioning each roller half off base. The art shows the parting pattern that will be used to set the expanded ovals using the indirect technique with cone-shaped rollers. After the first roller is set, each new point of origin will be located at the front bottom corner of each previous roller. All rollers in this shape are set with 1 diameter half-off base control and 1 diameter from their various points of origin. Measure the first base using the diameter plus the length of the roller. Use half-off base control and position the roller 1 diameter from the point of origin. Secure the small end of the cone-shaped roller. Measure the next base using the front bottom corner of the first as the point of origin.
Is Camel tea? Camel, I can't say it. It's like in Spanish.
Use 1 diameter half-off base control, positioning the roller parallel to the parting. Use the same technique to set the next roller. Again, use the front bottom corner of the previous roller as the point of origin. Use the same technique with a larger diameter roller to complete the perimeter of the shape. Return to the original point of origin. Measure and part a 1 diameter base using the larger diameter roller. Use half-off base control, positioning the roller parallel to the parting. Secure with a pick at the smaller end of the roller. Use the original point of origin and the same technique to set the last roller to complete the shape. Here we see the completed expanded oval. Note that the larger diameter rollers correspond to the longer lengths in the exterior. Use the same techniques to set the expanded oval on the opposite side. Begin at the point of origin and use the indirect technique. Complete the shape using the same techniques, setting each cone-shaped roller half off base.
Mister, your princess, please.
The art shows the horizontal bricklay pattern that will be used to set the remainder of the lengths in the back of the design using cylindrical rollers. Note that the rollers at either side of the nape hairline are set at angles to conform to the curves of the head and to blend with the movement of the expanded oval shapes. Set the first 2 rollers using the smaller diameter size with 1.5 diameter under-directed base control for diminished volume. Use the larger diameter roller and 1.5 diameter half-off base control to set the next row. Begin setting this row at the center, staggering the bases. Work from the center to either side to complete this row using the same technique. Set the last row using 1.5 diameter off-base control. Stagger the bases and set each of the rollers on the sides at an angle. The bricklay pattern in the back of the design creates neutral direction with diminishing volume toward the nape. Allow the hair to dry and cool completely before removing the rollers. Rub a silicone-based shine product between your hands and use your fingers to rake through the hair to relax the set for a loose tousled effect. Do not comb or brush the hair at this point. The finish shows loose curls with a flattering movement off the face in the interior. Depending on the client's wishes, the expanded oval movement can be more or less apparent in the finished design. You may choose to relax the set more fully and backcomb slightly to blend the bases. Clients can create similar styling options as the set relaxes.
Okay, so that's just some different options for the circles on the side. I'm just showing you some different ways. If you can think it up, you can do it. So I'm going to show you how to do the circle in the bang area, in the fringe area, with the, I guess I should have brushed that out a little bit better. Good thing she doesn't say ouch. So I'm going to show you how to do the circle in the front with the radial distribution. Okay. So I'm going to use a roller to measure out the amount of hair. So as I use this right in the middle, I know that when I get to the end of that, that's as wide as my circle is here. So as I start from my part, do I want my part that far down? No, I'll take my part right about the pupil here. Okay, so I know it's got to be about right here. So I'm just going to circle it around and make like a circle. How do I go here, here, and I'm going to measure here a little bit more over here to make sure that I have that measured out. So I'm going from like the recession line to the edge here, or the middle of the pupil to the recession line where the head starts to recede back. I think I'm going to take a little bit of that hair out. So really double check the areas. Okay, so now I have my circle. My half circle, I should say. All right, so where do I want this to be? Well, I'm gonna do it all about from the front section here, which means I get one point of origin. So as I come in, and I'm gonna use about this as my point of origin. So for this area over, I'm taking sort of a triangular section here. Rolling this one down. Put in my clip it. So from this same parting here now, I'm gonna come over about right here. Because now I have to fit in a circle, so I can't just take straight ones. I gotta take them in a little bit narrower to wider towards the back so that it fills in my circle. So again, from this same point of origin now, I'm gonna pop it over this way. So this one's an off base. I guess I should have told you that, huh? This first one is an off base, which is gonna give me the most volume, right? This second one is at 90 degrees, or half off base. This next one is going to be a half off base. And then my last one is going to be an off base. So what I'm getting in this half circle here is the most volume, medium volume, and less volume. So I'm gonna get a nice swoop coming around with my fringe area. So on the sides here, your choice. What do you think I should do on the sides? I got forward, back, up, or down. So what do you think your choice is gonna be? What should I do? Somebody call it out.
Make sign.
Which one? No one has any idea what I should do on the sides? Well, I'm gonna do the back here first. So I'm gonna come in right in the center here, do my partings out to my crown. And I'm gonna put these in on a half off base. Okay, so now I'm over here on this side where it's the heaviest. I have this area here to fill in. So, since no one came up with what I should do here, what should I do here? Should comb this out first. I think I will be going back with this side. So I'm going to go with this roller here at that base and just sort of fill this in right here. It's one width. I'm going to go at a half off base. Fill this in here. And then I'm going to go with, it's actually a vertical roller, but some people will call them candlestick on the sides. Remember, the sides just goes to behind the ear, so I'm just going to do 2. So as I bring this down 1 diameter, I'm going to pull this out at 90 degrees and roll it going back. And I have one more, same direction, 90 degrees. Roll that going backwards also. So there's that side. So now I'm going to come to this side and I'm going to do the same thing. So right here, I'm going to fill this area in with this roller here. $90. Half off base. So far, the only one that I have not done that's half off base is this very first one in the front. That was the only on base one I've put in so far. So come down to this side. It's my harder side, so I'm gonna get a little bit of a different angle on it. It's too dry, it just wants to come right off. And this is my harder side. So I'm gonna just put a smaller one in right about there in the front, just because of the angle that's there in this section. I think it's gonna work a little bit better. This is a short one, not a small one, shorter one. Right here. Yeah, I think that's gonna fill that in much better. So I don't want a gap, right? I want to keep that hair all in one spot. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in. And then one more right next to it for behind the ear. So since I can't secure these at the top, I'm going to secure it underneath down here in front of the ear, because there's no way for me to get that in without messing up the one I had on the top. So now I have that done, I'm ready to move to the back here. So now that I'm back in this area, I can go ahead and I'm going to come down to about the occipital and I'm going to flip this up in the back. So I'll be rolling all of this down and then flipping that up. But it is 10:55. So let's go ahead and go on our break until 11:05.